Hello, online kids. All right. So, whoa. I don't want to give away the answers there. All right. Go back. All right. So, just a reminder, we are learning all about verb tense now, and it's pretty straightforward. And we're frozen on the projector. So we have our future endings here: bo, bis, bit, bemis, bitis, bunt. Those aren't really too weird at all. There is some variety to the vowel that's being added to B. It goes from BO, which is like a normal first person singular thing, plus the B, to then BI, and then BU. So BIOU. If you see that, that is future tense. You can think of I owe you money in the future. I will owe you money if you want to remember I owe you. Words. And then we have the imperfect endings. Bomb, boss, bot. Bomb is bot is bot. I have these kind of dumb mnemonics for at least 4 of these. So bam, I was verbing or exploding. Boss, you were fishing for bass. Bat, the bat was flying. But mostly we're just looking for BA. When you see BA, you know it's imperfect, which is our fancy word for basically past tense. And you know you're going to use was or were. You can use verbed if you really feel like you need to. There's one sentence on the homework where verbed actually sounds way better than was or were verbing, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, we did this one yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so many. I remember y'all had a lot of trouble finding out the subject. It was just the first word. It's not a noun, but it's an adjective in English we would probably use a lot as a subject, like many. And then this verb that Chicken Boy's telling us about that we haven't seen too much, euo and meneo, were what tense again, anyone? What tense were they?
Past.
Yeah, which we don't say past. Yeah, they're imperfect. So it's like many were moneo remaining in the fields yesterday, and were helping the Romans. So even a sentence like this, where the subject, there's only one subject, but there's still kind of 2 parts of the sentence. So the subject is kind of doing 2 separate verbs. We haven't seen that a ton. This might have been like the second or third time we've ever seen that. But yeah, as long as you're what you think is your subject, which is multi in this case, and as long as you can agree with both of the verbs, it can take on as many verbs as it needs to. It like meaning it can perform as many verbs as it wants to in the sentence. So a subject is not confined to just one verb. Whether it's a compound verb or like a compound sentence like this, where it's kind of 2 sentences, we can still just have one subject for both verbs and both parts. Agrees was what case? What case was agrees, Nathan? It's green. Huh? Yeah, good. It's the object of in. Very good. Yeah, in is our preposition. When you see in, you're going to have an ablative. It's not like cropped air takes an accusative. All right, we're just going to be going through spot translations today, so I urge you to take out a notebook and write these down as we go through them. I maybe should have printed these out on the backside instead of the Python story, which I'm not sure if we'll get to. So that's kind of on me. But I have so many kids in this class this year that I won't always be able to print everything, because every time I have to print anything for y'all, it's like 80 copies. So y'all can write. We're still fresh. It's early in the morning, so try to write Palti Weary Daikura Ami Kogitama in your best handwriting so that you can then take notes on it and translate it. So guys, what are we thinking? We didn't do this one, right?
No.
Okay. What is our subject going to be? Soraya, can you tell what our subject might be? I might just kind of go around and call it. I'm sorry? Say it one more time. Yeah, weary. Why not? Weary is a noun. What does it mean, Sarah? You're not sure? Well, your instinct is good. It is a noun, and it has what looks like a nominative plural ending. So I think you're right, but what does that actually mean, Laura? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Huh? Wait, why did I call you Laura? Caitlin, what?
Man.
Yeah, it means man. Here is it singular or plural?
No idea.
Why don't you know?
It's singular.
No, just weir would be singular. Weary with a plural, long I. Everyone should have their noun chart out too. I really want y'all to do that. I guess I have to like remind y'all every time. Get your noun chart out. Get it out. There's some over there on the table if you really need it. With that long I, keep a nominative plural genitive. And then the first noun we're seeing, I think it's nominative plural. Is anything going with weary, Maddie Dugan? Is there any word that's going with it, like might be an adjective, buddy? Not sure. Does any word near weary end in the long I as well? Just try. Oh, enemy. Well, enemy's so far away that I'm wondering if maybe that's not the same case anymore. Usually, adjectives, if a noun does have an adjective modifying it, the adjective will usually be right next to it. So, Alora, is there another word that ends in a long I that might go with weary? Weary, should I pronounce with a V so y'all can know exactly what I'm talking about? So, you know what I'm saying? Huh? Palki? The first word, though. You remember the first? Yes. Yeah. So the first word, right? So we don't want to just address weary all by itself, like it's like all alone. Palki is right there. So the subject, if this is the subject, it's going to be, what does Palki weary mean? Richard or Maddie Fisher? Palki weary. Not just men, but Richard? Many? It's the opposite of many. That'd be multiple weary. Yeah, few men. So if I got few men, that might be your subject. Devin, what's our verb? Yeah, Kogi Tabont. Okay. So there's a lot going on with Kogi Tabont. I just want Devin to tell me the person in numbers. The first, second, and third person, singular, plural.
Second, plural.
It is plural, but it's not second. Remember, OST must tis int. And there's now chart on the white table. But huh?
Third.
Yeah, it's third. Third plural. And now, Grace, is it imperfect or is it future tense third plural?
Imperfect.
Yeah, it's imperfect, okay? Grace sees the BA and she knows that this is imperfect, right? A normal, why would I do that first? Okay. A normal third person plural present tense form of this would be Kogi Taunt, but this has the extra syllable Kogi Taunt. It has that BA added in there, and so it is imperfect. So basically, it's this past tense that we're starting to learn. And Nelius, I gave it away, but what case is Kura? Well, I even color coded it. Carson?
It's ablative.
It's ablative, right? We can tell because I made it green too soon, and because it has the macron over the A. So I really don't want you guys to have to spend any additional like cognition on figuring out that a noun with a long A is ablative. That should be something that happens pretty fast. There's a lot of things like, even this long I, we didn't know that was nominative plural until we saw that it definitely agreed with our verb. But Kura, you should know immediately it's ablative. But yeah, so when we found out Kogi Tama was third person plural, we could see that it does agree with few men. Few men is going to be the subject. So it's few men, what? Not think, because that'd be present tense. Macy, how do we make it imperfect? Few men, not think, but few men. Thinking is, but we're still missing one helping verb that starts with a W. Not are, that'd be present tense. But do we say few men was thinking? There you go. Few men were thinking. Very good. And then what were they thinking about, David? Because we think about things. We don't think from things, right? So I think I know day is about. What were you thinking about, Kaylin? Where's my good pointer? Oh, well. Yeah, what were they thinking about?
The care of the student.
Good. So Kaylin already thinks that she knows that onomy is genitive, and I agree. So remember, was it maybe Maddie thought anomie was maybe nominative plural as well, like going with weary? But it's so far away from what we think is our subject that I don't think it's like another subject. That would have to be like right after weary, like human and spirits or something. But so it's after Kura. It looks like it could be genitive, and genitive nouns do tend to be after the thing they're possessive of. So it's possessive of Kura, actually. And so they were thinking about the care of the mind. Sounds a little clunky, but what do you think they're trying to say in this sentence? We could also say a few men were thinking about the attention of their like spirit or the care of their spirit. What is that like saying? Because it almost sounds weird, but
It doesn't make sense.
you don't think it makes any sense?
The sentence doesn't make sense.
Well, I think it just sounds clunky, but like it does make sense. Macy? Yeah, I think whoever these few men are, they're talking about like men who like aren't caring enough about like the upkeep of their like mental or like spiritual kind of like fortitude. Yeah. So something like that. It does sound a little weird though. Yeah. I have a friend who wants to make a Latin textbook where none of the sentences make any sense, and so it's like more challenging to translate them because you're just relying on grammar and you're not relying on like
Word order.
well, because usually these sentences tell kind of like a little bit of a story, almost like a fragment of a story. But this person thinks that like becomes a crutch for people because you can kind of figure out what they're trying to say. Whereas like if it actually made no sense content wise and only made sense grammar wise, that would be like it would be difficult. Because you would end up with a translation and you're like, I guess it's right, like the grammatically is right, but it sounds crazy. All right, who can read number 8? We're somewhere around Natalie. Can you go ahead and read number 8, please? Good. All right, so we have propter. So this is kind of a big deal. Y'all are going to see propter on your homework at some point. And what is propter again, Natalie? And what's weird about it as a preposition? It doesn't take an ablative. It actually takes a good. It takes an accusative. So that's a new thing to wrap our minds around. If anything, I think that's almost a harder thing for them to throw at us in chapter 5 than the verb tense endings themselves. Because that's just, we're getting really used to sine, in, and de being our prepositions, taking ablatives. But so, Natalie, last question. Do we have an accusative right next to propter that could be the object of propter? Yeah, iram. It's the word right next to it. And it is accusative. So Natalie must be able, A, she's like, I'm telling her that we're going to need an accusative. B, hopefully she recognizes that this AM ending is our lovely accusative singular feminine ending. You should be getting pretty used to that one. It's super distinct. So what is now is the last thing, Natalie. What is propter, just the first 2 words, what is that going to translate to?
On account of anger?
Yeah, exactly. On account of anger. So that we just start off with a little prepositional phrase, and now we're going to start our sentence. So propter and iram are kind of in their own little bubble, all right? And like they're not going to really affect the rest of the sentence. So that's going to be on account of anger. Do I have that? Oh, see, it's red. Okay. And then now we'll translate the rest of it. So where are my verbs? Aiden, what? Do I have 1 or 2 verbs, or how many verbs do I have? Do I have any verbs in the sentence? Did you say it? Oh. Also, while he's looking for the verbs, is there a part of the sentence where we can like kind of separate the sentence into 2 different parts? Anyone at all? Kaylin?
Where it says F.
Yeah. Because I see at, and I already think the sentence is kind of big. It's still big even when I like try to kind of put propter iram off to the side in my mind. It's still a pretty big sentence. I see a conjunction like et, and it doesn't matter if you write the line before or after it, but y'all should do that too. Just make your life easier by like separating parts of sentences into smaller parts so they're easier to deal with. So that maybe would help Aiden see the verbs. Do you see any verbs at all? They're kind of hard to recognize sometimes when they're in a future or imperfect tense because they look different than how we were getting used to them looking. Not sure? Yeah, that's definitely one. So this is a verb. Is that the only verb, Nathan, or is there another one that we haven't seen a ton of in this one? What do you think? Can anybody see a second verb? Kind of hard. Ava? Estis. So estis, remember this weird verb that behaves a little funny. Sum means I, what? Anyone out loud? Sum means I am. Sum is I am. So I might want to write this in your notes. S means you am.
You are.
You are. See, it's a weird verb in English. S means it or she. Are or am? Is, yeah. Okay, and then sumus means we am what? Are, that's the first person plural. And then estis, it goes back to starting with an E for some reason, means not you are, but y'all is, just kidding, y'all are. And then sunt is they are. So it's are on all the plural sides. But yeah, this is a crazy verb, right? It's a really weird one. But even if we didn't know that's what it meant, we could still tell it was Estes. I'm talking about Estes and Divitus. Person and number, Danny, of Estes and Divitus. I kind of just gave it away, but yeah, what person and number are they? Singular, plural? Yeah. So we're talking about a y'all. That's our subject. So we have on account of anger, y'all, what? Y'all Estes in culpa? Oh, this one's crazy, actually. So I need to, let's see. So in, it's like almost always in. Sometimes it's on. But apparently, and this is the only sentence, I've taught over 20 chapters in this textbook the past few years. I've only seen this happen once. Every once in a while, in can be at. I would never put this in my quiz. This one's too hard. So what? What is going to be? What is Estes in culpa going to be? If culpa looks like what case? Anyone? I mean, we don't even know what case it is, honestly. But Kaylin?
Culpa is ablative.
It is ablative, and so it's the object of in. But we wouldn't. So what is Estes again, Kaylin?
Estes is y'all.
Yeah. So our subject can be y'all, or the verb is going to be are. So on account of anger, y'all are. But we wouldn't say in fault or on fault. But we can say at fault. But again, I've like never seen in be at other than like this sentence. So not the perfect sentence to go over. But so y'all are at fault. All right, let me erase sumesse. Again, sumesse is like this whole thing. Sumesse is at the end of y'all's vocab summary, which y'all should still have. It'd be incredible if it. I know some people probably still have it, but I know a lot of people lost it years ago. You actually traveled back in time and lost it sometime years before this question started. But yeah, with all the vocab on it, it'd be good to still have. I do have extra copies of it. All right, so y'all are at fault. I'm just saying you. I'll change it to you all, just to be precise. You all, and then what? Then we have two more words, and these are kind of tricky too. Does anybody remember? So what does dodare mean, real quick? Dodare, because that's what this is from. This almost doesn't look like it, but it's from dodare, one of our first verbs, the Christmassy kind of verb. It means Carson. Not you're thinking of debeo. It almost looks like debeo because it's so. To give. Let's see. Good, Kylie. Is it future or imperfect tense? It does just mean y'all give, but it's not present tense y'all give. It's what, future or imperfect? That would be dabatis with BAT. So it's future. So yeah, let's make a little kind of, we can use these for the rest of the sentences here. That BI or BO or BU equal, it's a weird way of doing it, future, and we use will. Whereas, another black marker, BA is what means imperfect. And we use was and were. So it's going to be y'all will give, what is poinos, anyone? Penalties. And so this is a weird thing about, like, it's in the dictionary entry for poinos, poinoi rather, that when it goes with dodare, it's not actually going to translate to give penalties, but it's going to translate to pay penalties. You're going to pay the penalties, plural. So there's that's two things in this sentence that are just very kind of, I mean, I'm glad y'all aren't having to do this one for homework. Y'all have ones that are almost as hard for homework, but this one's pretty hard, actually. Make sure you're writing this stuff down in your notebook. Get some paper out. Back row as well. Make sure you're writing this down. We're not just hanging out right now. We're writing things down. Who goes to school to just sit there? It's so weird. Okay. Number 9. Kylie, could you read number 9? Good. Where otium non habes. We're still. Let's ignore we're still. I can just tell that's some nonsense. Let's see. What do you think about this sentence, Kylie? Can you find the verb in this sentence? I think that will kind of make things way easier for us. We just get that verb real quick. What's the verb? This is a good old present tense verb. They're not even throwing any tenses at us. You can't see it? No, Ava, can you tell what our verb is here? Ava or Jake? What's our verb in this sentence? Yeah, habes, right? From habeo, haberi. Remember I talked about like turning that B into a B mentally, and it kind of looks like what it means, which is what, Ava or Jake? What's habeo, haberi to what? Yeah, good, to have. And Jake, is his first, second, or third person ending in S? You said second? Yeah. It's second singular. And maybe they gave us, this is just present tense. Maybe they gave it to us because they're like, oh, we're going to trick them because this word already has a B in it. And they're going to think that B is like a future B ending or an imperfect. No, this is just present tense. Future would be habe this, and imperfect would be habe boss. It would have like a second B at the ending. Because there's already a B in habe or habe. This is just present tense. So it's going to translate to you. What, Jake? You said have? Is that what, yeah, you have, but it's non-habe, so what's it going to be, Nathan? It's you, non-habes. Not you have, but you. Oops. So how do we get that non there? We actually have to add a whole new helping verb because English is addicted to using helping verbs. Kaylin?
You do not.
Yeah, we have to use do just to make this like a negative instead of a positive kind of verb. Because we don't want to. It's not you have. It's you not have. But you not have is bad English. So it's you do not have. We have to add that do in ourselves. It's a little hard, and that's why I try to get y'all to add. I had non wrong on the dictionary. It says like often, I think. Yeah, but so the book itself just says not, but I think it's better to put in parentheses do or does not, because that's how you're gonna have to translate it a lot of the time is using do or does. So you do not have a direct object. And what is the direct object that quote unquote you do not have? Soraya, what's the direct object here? Wait, this guy? No, I think this is just. Can I tell what this is just by looking at it? It's something about a man, Stolte, weird. What did we say about a man who praises the bout of war? That man is foolish. So this is, I think, is just vocative. This is at the end they're saying like foolish man. So it's almost like not messing with the rest of the grammar. So no, what's our direct object? Anyone? There's a reason I wanted to find the verb immediately. Devin? Or not Devin?
Otium.
Yeah, maybe just otium. Because we saw otium's our first noun. We see verum is adjective meaning. Anyone out loud? True, yeah. So otium is a neuter noun. So like it could have been the subject, but I wasn't sure. That's how neuters are. It's like you see them end in un, and you think, well, like it could be nominative, but it could also totally be a direct object. And that's so why on this one, if I was y'all, if I was translating this, I was incentivized just to go get my verb. My verb would clear up for me if this was the direct object of the subject. Once I see that the verb is second person and I know my subject is you, I'm like, okay, well, that's the direct object. And that's a thing that you do not have. So you do not have true peace, foolish man. This is our vocative orange. Doesn't show up too much because vocative is the worst case. Yep. How are we feeling about verb endings, y'all? Because before we get mired in verb tense, we need to feel really good about first, second, third person, singular, plural, present tense. All right, let's have Maddie Dugan read number 10 aloud. Good. Sumus boni, si paukas, habemos. All right, I'm definitely this guy. How many chunks is this sentence going to be split up into? 2, 3?
3.
Yeah, I'm saying 3. I mean, the semicolon is an obvious division. That's like semicolons are basically periods that are non-committal to ending a sentence. And then I see another comma, and I get the feeling maybe because I know my vocab really well, I know that's a conjunction. That this is like 3 chunks of a sentence here. So what is nihil est sine culpa? That's going to come down to just kind of a vocab thing. It's not like grammar's not really super important to nihil est sine culpa. That might be like something we can do just based off if we know our vocab well. So what would nihil est sine culpa be, Ava? Is without, say it again? What's the last word here? Exactly right. Exactly the last word. Yeah, nothing is without blame. Very good. Nothing is without blame. Good. Why did I make culpa pink? That's wrong. What case is culpa, anyone? This is nothing is without fault or blame. What case is culpa, Ava? Yeah, because it's right next to sine. It's got the macron. It's ablative. It's like pink on all of them for some reason. Why did I do that? Yeah. So you'll see how like that's a lucky like thing for an English speaker, this sentence, where we can literally just move left to right. And if we know our vocab well, then it's going to all work out. Culpa is going to go back to being pink, but oh well. It is actually green. It's ablative green. So nothing is without fault or nothing is without blame. Now, sumus boni, we just saw the second person plural form of sumus. Sumus, though, is Alora. What person and number is sumus? The mus. First, second, or third. Close. A lot of people look at this ending and they think it's third because they're thinking of like a lot of people. It's actually what? OST must is it's first, Ava. First plural, right? OST 1, 2, 3, and then must is int. That is on the plural side. So it goes back to first person for must. It's the second plural, NT is third plural. Yeah, I mean they're all up here, right? So Laura, you see that? You see this must here? It's first person plural, and it looks kind of far away. Y'all should have it on your desk as well. So what does sumus mean? Well, last thing for Laura. If it's first person plural, what kind of subject what kind of pronoun is going to have? I, you, it, we, y'all, or they? It's first plural. Yeah, good. It should be like the fourth one. If you think of them in that order, it should be the fourth one. But it's like OST must, tis int, I, you, it, we, y'all, they. So it's we, and then let's see. So sumus means to be, right, Caitlin? So is this we is, we am, or we? Yeah, good. So we are bony. Maddie Fisher, what does bony mean? Bonus, bona, bona? You don't know? Y'all, this is the most basic adjective we have in Latin. I need you all to know what bonus, bona, bona means. Richard? No? Devin?
Good or kind. No.
Yeah, it means good or kind, okay? So when you get bonus in America, it's a good thing, right? We use the word more like extra in English, but it comes from this Latin word that means good, okay? That's like the most basic adjective you could have, right? It's just like, it's like good. Like think of like a smiley face, like bonus. Well, do you know bonus now forever? Bonus, bona, bona means good? Yeah? Now you know forever, right?
Yeah, but I'm stupid and I can't help that.
Let's like not say that. I actually like kind of like really don't like to hear y'all say
I'm
that.
not very smart. We did that a lot last year.
So what does sumus boni mean? Look, y'all go to LTA, and if you're like if you have like anything close to 3.0, you're all like really smart. You're like smarter than most of the country. So like I don't think it's a great idea to walk around being like, oh, I'm not smart. Like, what's the point of that? Like, you are smart. Just like accept it and deal with it. Okay. Macy.
Wait, how are we smart if we go to?
I don't know. It's a good school. Okay, so what does sumus boni mean? Anyone? Trust me, there's a lot of schools that don't have like the level of instruction we have. Yeah, we are good. That's all it is. Sumus boni is we are good. So we really want to get to the point where we look at sumus boni and we just know, Maddie, that it's we are good really quickly. We wouldn't want to have to spend too much time on knowing that it comes down to vocabulary and it comes down to the verb sum esse. Chapter 6, we're going to get to the future and imperfect forms of sum esse. So that will be our chance to really practice sum esse. But yeah, remember, you just got to kind of figure out it means like it comes from sum esse, which means to be. And we have to conjugate be into am, to is, to are, depending on what person and number it is. I need to remember to stop walking away from the computer when I'm recording the first class. Okay. Sorry, computer kids. I walked away from the computer. I don't know if my voice got quieter or not. All right. So nothing is without fault. We are good if, that's what C means, right? if habemos is also first person plural. Not gonna waste your time asking about that. It's the same ending as suma, so it's still gonna be we. We what, Antonio or Devin? We habemos. We get the we from here. We get the verb from here. We habeo, haberi. What's it? Huh? Yeah, have. We have what? Alkos? Is that what we have? Is that the direct object, Kaylin?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's few. It is an adjective, but it has an ending that tells me what, Ava? That it is a direct object. Yeah, I didn't even put those two at the same time. Yeah, AS. It is accusative plural. It's the feminine first declension accusative plural. So even though it's an adjective, it is in fact the direct object. So what is si palcos habemos? It's gonna sound weird until you put it all together. But what is just si palcos habemos? Anyone? Ava? Yeah, if we have few. So it's saying that like nothing or no one. I think it kind of means like no one by nihil. Well, it's technically nothing. Nothing is without fault, but we are good if we have few. Like all we can hope to do is have like the fewest amount of faults. But like everyone, like it's like an inherent quality to humans, apparently, according to the sentence. So that's that sentence. There's no tense again. It's just kind of like complicated without even having verb tense. It's a good reminder that verb tense is something we need to be ready for on top of how complicated a Latin sentence can already be. All right, let's do like one or two more, and then we might have some homework time. Who can read number? What? Yep. Let's have Grace or Macy read this. Okay, Macy. Good. So apparently this diphthong, which is just two vowels making one sound, is in English. I mean, Latin is like oi, but poeta sounds weird. So I usually just say poeta, but maybe it's more correct to say. So anyway, poeta amicae multas rosas dona pulchra et sacia dabat. All right. What do you think our subject might be, Macy or Grace? What might our subject be? We just had to take a while. Oh. Yeah, maybe just poeta. Poeta is a noun. It's the first noun we're seeing. All we need to do to confirm that it's a noun, or the subject rather, is find our verb and see if it agrees with the verb. So let's do that. Let's do that. Nelius, what's our verb here? It might be buried. What's our verb? Not sure. Carson?
Debat.
Debat. It's right, exactly. I should have said buried. Maybe that confused you. What I meant is that this is a long sentence and it's all the way at the end. Verbs are usually at the end, though. So what verb does dabat come from? This is the second time we're seeing it today. Dabat.
To give.
Yeah, it's from dodare, to give. So we have to give again. We're gonna have dodare a lot. And let's see, David, is it first, second, or third person? Dabat. First, second, or third? OST. 1, 2, 3. What is it? You can look down at your verb chart. That's right. That might help. Sitting in T. So is it first, second, or third person? Yeah, good. So it does agree with poet. Poet is a he or she. So poet is our subject. So the poet, and this is crazy, but this is how Latin works, is that we have our subject all the way over here and our verb all the way over here. But those are the first two words in our English translation. I mean, the poet not gives, because what tense, Kaylin, is dabat? Is it future or imperfect? It's imperfect. It's the BA. Dot would just be the poet gives, but dabat is going to be the poet was. Gave is okay, but I kind of like to use our helping verbs because English loves helping verbs. So the poet, what? A W helping verb. My handwriting's really bad right there, but.
Second word.
The poet were giving? Was giving. There you just have to say it out loud to figure out if you're going to use was or were. The poet was giving. Who knows what we should do with amicae? I'm not sure. Like it could be, is it genitive or dative? I'm not sure. Because we know it's not nominative plural, AE, right? We already have our nominative, it's poet. So it's either this one or this one. That's why I made it pink and blue, because I'm not sure yet if it's dative or genitive. I don't think it's genitive. What would that even mean? The poet of the friend? That sounds weird.
Friends, poet.
Not like if poetai was genitive, like it was the friend of the poet, that would make sense. But poet of the friend sounds crazy. So it must be dative, but let's just keep going for now. The poet was giving what? It's going to give direct objects. Is the rest of our entire sentence filled with direct objects, actually? What's one of our direct objects that the poet's going to give anyone? Carson?
Rosa.
So what kind of just roses or?
Yeah, there's more.
Well, does Rosas have a buddy? A word buddy?
Multas.
Moltas. So he's going to give Moltas, Rosas. What else, Ava? Is there any other direct objects? You're probably going to say Moltas, Rosas, but is there another? Are there two more direct objects? A triple compound direct object? Are these all things that the poet are going to give to the friend? Anyone? What else is he going to give besides many roses? He's going to give many roses. That's one accusative, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for accusatives. I see this AS ending. I know that's one of the accusatives. What else, Devin?
Dona Pulcha.
Dona pulchra. Even though this doesn't look like it's accusative in the same way Moltas Rosas is, it's from donum doni. This is that crazy neuter A. That is also accusative. So he's giving many roses. He's giving, what is Dona pulchra? Anyone think of Christmas? Not many. Oh. What kind of gifts? Pulchra. It's our new word. It's like Bella. Are they ugly gifts or?
Good.
Are they ugly gifts or? They're pretty. So he's giving many roses. It's a new vocab word, so it's okay. They're giving many roses, pretty gifts, and Basia. I guess this poet and the friend are dating. What is Basia? This is like the second and last time we'll ever see this word. We're never gonna see this word again. Kylie. Yeah, that's kisses. They're all direct objects, okay? And then so what is amikai? Is it genitive or dative? Genitive or dative? What case do we look for when a subject is giving direct objects? We look for not a direct object because we already have direct object, but we're going to look for an indirect object. So I think it's dative. So it's to the friend. That's what amikai is. Really hard. I feel like these sentences are really hard, but that's Latin for you. Yep, the poet gives many roses, beautiful gifts, and kisses to his friend, her friend, whatever. To the friend. We don't know the gender of amikai, but or any of the people in this sentence. But yeah, amikai was dative. So we go like sentences and sentences without seeing the dative. But remember, dative looks kind of like the verb dodare for a reason, because it's actually related to the verb dodare. And then dona is related to that as well. So the word dative, donum doni meaning gift, and dodare meaning to give. They're all kind of related to each other. And so if you see the verb dodare, you're likely going to have a dative indirect object. You might even have the word gifts also show up in your sentence. He's giving gifts to a dative, right? It's kind of cool. Maybe. It's cool. I'm not sure. All right. I guess that's all we have for today. Macy, did you want to look at one of the homework sentences? All right. I don't want to give away the answer, so I'm going to pause it. You said the third one? Yeah, we'll do it in class, but we can talk about I'm going to try to talk about it without giving anything away or like showing all the answers until tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably why it's hard. So part of us making this easier is like I've been talking about, we want to split it up into chunks, and that might have to do with us finding verbs. Guys, there are a whopping 3 verbs in this sentence. Who can point out some of the verbs? So this is a homework sentence, so we're doing your homework right now, basically, for you. Natalie, what's one of them? Say it again. Vocabit? Yeah, vocabit. She remembers vocabulary. It does have a new kind of ending on it, but that shouldn't like keep us from recognizing it's just vocabulary to call. What else, Ava? Adiuwal. This is a verb I think you've only seen once. Chicken Boy is telling us that adiuware, the worst Latin word ever pronounced, is actually the same as iuwo, iuare, and it means to help, okay? So that's the same as iuwo, iuare. I think they just want us to get used to, like, Latin verbs get a lot of prefixes, just like English verbs get a lot of prefixes. And then there's actually a third one. What's the third one? It's kind of stealthy. Soon. Very good. What does soon mean again, Elias? Not is. Huh? Yeah, it means like they. We might have a they, so we might not actually need they, but it means they are. They are. And then, what is the tense of both vocabit and Adiwa bunt? Because soon is just present tense. That's just going to be are not. Something are not. The subjects are not something. But vocabit and Adiwa bunt are either present or future. All right, computer kids, it's about to shut off, but the bell's going to ring in like 2 minutes anyway. Good luck with your homework. For y'all, it's due on Thursday, which is a paradox because we're checking it in class on Wednesday. So we're going to do your homework for you tomorrow, I guess. I still haven't figured out